Aloha, my name is Janique Marcil. I'm 17 years old and I live on the Hawaiian island of Kauai. I'm currently a senior at Kauai High in the small city of Lihue where I live. I consider myself to be very lucky because I've been involved in various nature conservation projects and experiences since a very young age. The first one I can remember well was when I did a field trip to Nu'ulo'lokai, an historical site stewarded by the Nepali Coast Ohana. There for a week, I was introduced to the history and culture of this amazing place by my Hanai grandmother, Sabra. I learned how Hawaiians traditionally use plants for food, for clothing, for tools, for decoration, for everything. As I grew older, I started volunteering with local organizations and groups, like the Kauai Surf Riders Blue Water Task Force, where I learned how to test water for contamination. I got involved with Malamu Hula'ia and helped remove invasive plants from the Hula'ia River just 5 minutes away from where I live. I helped re-establish native Hawaiian plant species at various locations on island and lent a hand at various local community-based gardens and fields. 2 years ago, when I had to choose a subject for my school's sophomore science project, it wasn't hard, it had to do with plants. So I reached out to Ashley Trask, who was then nursery manager at the National Tropical Botanical Garden. She was conducting tests to determine the ideal soil for spore propagation of native Hawaiian ferns, and I helped her out. For weeks, I watched those ferns grow. It was an amazing experience, and I learned a lot. Now, at 17, this is what I know, and it's pretty simple. Without plants, there is no life. When Kauai was formed by volcanic eruptions 5 million years ago, this land was totally barren. Ferns were among the first plants to colonize the garden island. Their spores traveled across the ocean, carried by wind, and landed on freshly cooled lava. Here, where they nestled into cracks, germinated and grew. They broke down mineral-rich lava into soil. As they decomposed, they created habitats for the next wave of plants, which then made it possible for animals and humans to settle in. But here we are today, living in a world pushed to its limits by human-induced factors, such as global climate change, habitat loss, overexploitation, and pollution. More than ever, we need to reconnect with nature. But why do youth need to get involved in nature conservation? I know that young people are most at risk, in a world that is out of balance, in a world that is disconnected from nature. My generation grew up with phones, tablets, and computers, and many of us are nature blind, or many think it's not important, or boring, or simply avoid the issue altogether, because the future seems hopeless to them. But it's not. So how can organizations effectively engage youth? In my opinion, one way would be to use phones, tablets, computers to create virtual experiences and entice young people to nature. More importantly though, organizations need to value the creation of real experiences, real opportunities. They need to organize field trips where kids are introduced to nature, where they can see themselves as part of nature. They need to set up internships and volunteer opportunities for teenagers that will help explain the challenges we are facing and provide solutions. They need to bring youth to conservation events and empower them with the kuleana, or responsibility, of caring for the aina, for the earth, for that which feeds us. Most importantly, organizations need to involve parents and guardians, so they can in turn introduce their children to nature. That's what happened to me. That's why I'm talking to you today. To conclude, I wanted to end on a short video that was done a while back. I don't think it needs much of an intro, so here it is.
My name's Janique and I'm 8 years old. One of my favorite things is to go for long walks in nature. I live in Hawaii and the forest here is incredible. I like to look at plants, take pictures, and learn new things. There are plants that grow nowhere else in the world, like this one, but they are dying out. So I help plant trees that are threatened or endangered, or trees that grow only here in Hawaii. Every person is important and it's the same with plants. I'm an everyday hero because I care about life and its diversity.
Being a hero is actually a lot of fun.